This podcast is brought to you by The Senior Techie, a source of information for seniors and others about technology. Hello and welcome. It is great to have you with us. Today we are tackling a subject that I think feels incredibly personal to a lot of us.
It's a huge topic.
It is. It's about that intersection where our desire to stay independent meets the sometimes messy reality of modern technology and, well, family worries.
And it's one where the technology is often promised a lot more than it's delivered. We've been told for years that smart homes are the answer to aging in place. But if you actually live with this stuff, you know it's not always so simple.
Exactly. And that's where we're going to start. I want to paint a picture that the Senior Techie describes, and I think a lot of you listening will be nodding your heads. You've got the smart doorbell, right? So you don't have to rush to the door. Maybe you're wearing a smartwatch that can detect a fall. You might even have a motion sensor in the hallway. You have all the gadgets.
On paper, you are the connected senior.
Yeah.
You've got all the gear.
But here's the catch, and this is the big problem the Senior Techie identifies right away. These devices are all acting like isolated islands. They just don't talk to each other.
That is the perfect way to describe it. Isolated islands. Think about the data flow in your house right now. If you decide to sleep in until, say, 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, your bed sensor knows you're still there.
Sure.
But does your front door know? And more importantly, does your daughter know? Or is she currently calling your neighbor because you're not answering the phone?
That's the whole disjointed information problem. The Senior Techie highlights this as a major source of friction. You have all these data points, but without a central brain to connect the dots, it's just noise.
And that noise creates anxiety for the people who care about you, which usually results in what?
The phone calls.
The phone calls. Mom, are you okay? Dad, why didn't you text back? It feels like nagging, but really, it's just a lack of information.
Which brings us to the core solution we are discussing today. We are not talking about buying another shiny gadget. We're talking about a concept the Senior Techie calls mission control for aging in place. They call it the family console.
I love that term, mission control. It really reframes the whole conversation. We're not just adding tech, we are building a system. The idea is to have a shared digital platform, like a dashboard, that pulls all those isolated signals into one coherent view.
So instead of my son checking the Ring app to see if I'm home and my daughter checking a different app for the thermostat, they just look at one screen.
Exactly. It's a funnel. It takes all that chaotic data and turns it into a simple status update. And the Senior Techie makes a really compelling point here.
Yeah.
This technology is effectively the group text killer.
Oh, I like the sound of that. I think everyone listening has been trapped in that chaotic family group text. Did you hear from Dad? I thought you called him.
Who's taking him to the doctor? It's exhausting for everyone. And it's intrusive for you. With the family console, that coordination problem just sort of evaporates. The family has real-time awareness. They can log in and see, okay, movement in the kitchen at 7:30 a.m.? Great.
Dad's up making coffee.
Right. Front door opened at 10 a.m. He probably got the mail. Medication box opened at noon.
And the beauty is nobody had to call me to ask, did you take your pills? They already know. It gives you your autonomy back.
Precisely. The goal isn't surveillance. It's ensuring someone is paying attention without burning out a single caregiver. It spreads the load.
Now, you just used a word there, surveillance, and I want to stop us right there because if I'm listening to this, living in my own home, the idea of my kids having a dashboard of my life sounds creepy.
It absolutely does, and the Senior Techie tackles this head on. This is the whole privacy versus safety debate. If a system feels like Big Brother, you are going to unplug it. We see it all the time.
I certainly do not want my kids tracking how long I spend in the bathroom. That's just not dignified.
You are absolutely right. And that is why the Senior Techie emphasizes a specific design philosophy for these consoles. Patterns over pictures.
Patterns over pictures. Okay, what does that actually mean for my privacy?
It means the system focuses on trends and anomalies rather than, invasive details. So a creepy system might send a text saying, Mom has been in the bathroom for 20 minutes.
I would hate that.
A pattern system, however, simply reports normal movement patterns detected. Or if you haven't moved from the bedroom by 11 a.m. when you're usually up by 8, it flags unusual inactivity.
So it's monitoring for the exception, not watching the rule.
Exactly. It's looking for the break in the pattern. Another great example is cameras. Most seniors are very resistant to cameras inside the house, and rightly so. A console approach might just log front door visitor at 2:30 p.m.
So it doesn't need to stream a live video to my daughter's phone?
Not unless there is a specific reason to look. It feels much more respectful. It treats you like an adult.
Okay, so let's get practical. The Senior Techie breakdown includes some specific tools. Let's start with software. If I'm comfortable with my smartphone, what should I be looking at?
Well, the first one they highlight is CareZone.
And is that a paid service?
It's actually completely free, which is a great starting point. The reason the Senior Techie highlights it is because it emphasizes that helper role without the invasive sensors. You can share task lists, health journals.
So if my daughter takes me to the cardiologist, she can upload the notes there, and my son can read them later without calling me.
Right. Everyone is on the same page. Now, the Senior Techie does note a downside. It lacks appointment reminders, which seems like a bit of a miss. But for zero cost, it's a great way to stop the group texts.
Okay, but not everyone wants to mess around with smartphone apps. What about people who are, let's say, tablet hesitant?
This is where the specialized hardware comes in. The standout mentioned is the Claris Companion.
Is this just an iPad in a thick case?
No, it's a dedicated device. It costs about $349 upfront plus a monthly fee. But what you're paying for is simplicity. Huge icons, voice controls. There is no hunting for that tiny little settings gear.
And how does this act as a family console?
It's a two-way console. For you, the senior, it's an easy way to make video calls. For the family, it generates those summaries we talked about. Thursday, normal activity, all meds taken, 15-minute walk.
You know, that summary, Thursday, normal activity. That is peace of mind in 3 words. That's gold.
It really is. Now, if we want to talk about maximum security, and I know many seniors are worried about scams, we have to talk about the GrandPad.
I've seen this one. It's the tablet that looks really premium.
It is. It's about $399 plus a monthly subscription. But the selling point here is what tech people call a walled garden. It's a closed ecosystem.
Meaning I can't just surf the open web?
Correct. And for a lot of people, that is a feature, not a bug. You can't accidentally download malware. You can't click on a fake bank link. Even the contacts are pre-approved by your family administrator.
So if a video call comes through, you know 100% it is safe.
You know it's not a scammer. And the Senior Techie points out a killer feature with GrandPad. 247 white glove support.
What does that mean in practice?
It means if you get confused, you push a button and talk to a real human at GrandPad. You don't have to call your son during his work meeting to ask how to turn up the volume.
I know families who would pay the subscription fee just to not be the IT department anymore. That is so smart.
It's very smart.
So we have tablets. What about AI? We hear so much about artificial intelligence. Is there a role for it here?
There is. And it's showing up in coordination apps like Caring Village. This is a shared calendar. But the premium version, about $15 a month, includes an AI assistant named Julia.
And what does Julia do that a normal alarm doesn't?
Julia is context aware. So let's say you usually take your medication at 8 a.m. An alarm just beeps. But Julia monitors the system. If she sees you haven't accessed the med box by 8:30, she prompts the specific family member who was on duty that morning.
So she closes the loop. She doesn't just nag you. She alerts the backup.
Exactly. It's intelligent monitoring.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we have to mention fall detection. This is the #1 fear for aging in place. The Senior Techie highlights the Philips Lifeline HomeSafe.
Is that the standard I've fallen and I can't get up button?
It includes the button, but the tech has leaped forward. It now has auto alert. It uses sensors to detect a fall without you pressing anything.
That is crucial because if you fall and hit your head, you aren't pressing a button.
Exactly. The system detects the physics of the fall, the rapid descent, and then no movement. And it contacts emergency services and family automatically. That is a lifesaver.
It really is. But, and here is a pivot the Senior Techie makes that I think is so important. You can have the smartest AI, the best sensors, and the whole system can still fail.
Yes, because technology only works if the human network is structured. You can't automate caring.
This brings us to escalation protocols. That sounds like something from a military operation.
It sounds rigid, but the Senior Techie argues it's actually about kindness. It's about preventing notification fatigue.
Notification fatigue. That's when your phone buzzes so much you just stop looking at it.
Exactly. Imagine if every time you opened your back door, all 3 of your kids got a notification.
They'd ignore it within a week. Oh, it's just mom and the cat again.
And then the one time it's an actual emergency, they miss it. So a protocol is just a set of rules. The motion sensor alert comes in. The sister who lives 5 minutes away gets it first if she doesn't acknowledge it in 20 minutes.
Then it goes to the brother who lives an hour away.
Exactly. It's a cascade. It stops the whole family from panicking at once and ensures that when your phone buzzes, It actually means something.
There's another human benefit mentioned that I found really touching. They talk about better conversations. How does a sensor lead to that?
Well, think about the standard phone call. You call your mom. Hi, Mom. How are you? Fine. Did you eat? Yes.
Yeah.
It's a checklist.
We've all had that call. It feels like an inspection.
But with the family console, your daughter checks the dashboard before she calls. She sees you're up until 2 a.m. moving around. So now, she doesn't ask, how are you? She asks, hey, I saw you were up late last night. Is your arthritis bothering you?
That immediately opens the door to a real discussion.
It moves the relationship from caregiver-patient back to daughter-mother. You can just talk about life.
That's a powerful shift. But I want to get practical. If this sounds good, do I have to rip out my existing smart home stuff?
No, and that's the beauty of modern interoperability. The console sits on top. You might have a Ring doorbell, an Alexa, and a Nest thermostat. The console software translates all those different languages into one view.
So how do we start? Do we just go out and buy 15 sensors this weekend?
Please don't do that. That is the #1 recipe for rejection. The senior techie advice is explicit. Start slow.
What's the entry point?
Pick 1 or 2 devices that solve an immediate annoyance for you, the senior. Maybe just a video doorbell. Or a voice assistant to play music.
Let yourself get comfortable with the benefit first.
Right. And the senior techie emphasizes the first 30 days. You have to treat that first month like a test. The family needs to check in. Is that notification annoying? Do we feel too close? You have to tune the system.
And as needs change, the system changes too.
It does, and this is where professional care comes in. Eventually, you might need visiting nurses. The console can tackle the notebook on the counter problem.
Oh, I know that one. The spiral notebook where the aide scribbles, "Mom ate lunch," in handwriting no one can read.
And then it gets lost. With a console, you can give paid caregivers limited access. They can log vitals and tasks digitally. It's time-stamped and searchable.
So a new aide on Tuesday can see exactly what the routine was on Monday.
It creates continuity of care. It's huge for safety.
We have to talk about the bottom line, though. What are we looking at financially?
It is an investment. You have the upfront hardware costs and the monthly subscriptions. And there's a hidden cost, the senior techie points out. Yeah. Budget to replace about 20% of your devices every 2 years.
20%? Why so high?
Because batteries die. Tech becomes obsolete. A sensor just breaks. You have to treat it like home maintenance.
But when you zoom out, how does that compare to the alternatives?
That's the real comparison. The average cost of assisted living is around $4,500 a month.
Wow. When you put it that way, $50 or $100 a month for a system like this looks like a bargain.
Or even comparing it to the cost of one bad fall. The return on investment, financially and emotionally, is definitely there.
And this isn't just about physical safety, right? The senior techie mentions some organizations are using this for social health, too.
Yes, they mentioned Claris Healthcare is taking this into managed care. They treat social isolation almost like a chronic condition, using these systems for daily check-ins in virtual groups. It's about keeping people connected to the world.
So, pulling all these threads together, what is the main takeaway for our listeners today?
I think the summary from the senior techie is this. The goal isn't to keep you in your home forever at any cost. The goal is to keep you there safely, as long as it serves your well-being. The console is the tool that gives you the data to ask, is this still working?
It helps you identify when the situation crosses that line from independent to dangerous.
Exactly. It turns a guessing game into a data-driven decision, and that protects everyone.
And I'll leave you with this final thought. We often see technology as something that separates us. But in this case, by automating the safety checks, you might actually be clearing the way to be a family again. You stop being the nurse and the security guard, and you get to go back to being the son, the daughter, the parent.
And that is a mission control worth building.
Absolutely. Thank you for walking us through this. It's a complex topic, but having a plan makes all the difference.
Happy to do it.
This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to keep up with their newsletters, you can subscribe for free by going to theseniortechie.com. Thanks for listening.